Hello, I'm Tom Olson from the National Weather Service office in Springfield, Missouri. Today's tutorial we're going to cover the WxCoder, signing in and entering daily weather observations. If you're newly assigned as a co-op weather observer for the National Weather Service, your office will provide you with the login information for WxCoder.org, and it'll provide you with a username and access code. So today we'll show you how to do that and then how to enter data. So here we're going to use the eminence and the password. We'll put that in. Again, that's a case sensitive, so make sure you, whatever Weather Service gives you for that access code, you type it in the same, exactly what they've given you. So once we've signed in, it'll tell you your location, eminence, and the date, the time, and this is a 24-hour values and totals daily. This site was also does temperatures. If yours doesn't, that will not be there. You get to put in your max, min, and add observation temperature, precipitation, multiple day accumulation. And here we're just doing it daily. Let's say you're here every day of the week, every morning at 7 a.m. It'll always stay at 1. If you're gone, you may have to change that. Now, snowfall, snow depth is also under precipitation. Then we have weather, what your observational period weather is, and remarks. And remarks can expound more on what you had for the observational period weather, especially like hail, hail size, damaging wind, glaze, ice pellets, thunderstorms, things like that. You can expound on them and explain more what happened. So if we go up to the top here, we're going to enter the daily observation, and you want to make sure it's as close to this 7 a.m. as possible. If you're outside this window, let's say you had to go to work early or something, you can do this. You're going to put it to the time that you took the observation. Let's say you had to leave early for work, so we're going to do today as an example at 6:15, and we're going to enter the max temperature, the minimum, and then the observation temperature. So now notice, if you ever have any questions on what's supposed to be entered or how to enter it, you click on these arrows here and it'll give you more information on it. So max, min temperatures are rounded to the nearest degree Fahrenheit, and let's say if you're halfway there, 39.5 should be recorded as 40. Now let's say if you're in the negative numbers, because some of you will be in those cold climates, so if you have a negative, let's say a negative 10.5, so that's going to be rounded. It's going to be rounded up, and up is towards 0, so minus 10.5 would actually be minus 10. So you're rounding up. And when we say rounding up, it's rounding up towards the 0. So if it's minus 10.5, we're going to round it up that way. So if it was minus, for example, let's say if it was minus 10.6, then it would be minus 11, because it's closer to the 11, the negative 11, than to the negative 10. So now we've entered this. One other key to note here is that at observation temperature cannot, and again I say cannot be less, in this example, cannot be less than the minimum temperature. Otherwise it'll show an error and say, no, this can't happen. So with that, at observation temperature can only be the same or warmer. It cannot be less than the minimum temperature, because this is covering a 24-hour period from what your at observation temperature is to yesterday at observation temperature is. And so if you came up with 20 for a minimum, again, this cannot be less than that. So in this instance, it was 22 degrees at 6:15 this morning. So next block is the precipitation to the nearest hundredth. And again, this is going to be both rain or melted hail, ice pellets, or snow. So anything frozen will be melted, and that's your precipitation, also known as your water equivalent for the frozen type precipitation. So in this example, we're going to say you had a tenth measured. That was 1 day, because we measured over that 24-hour period. Snowfall, we had snow move through, and we measured 1.5 on that snowboard. Again, with this, you can drop those down, and notice if it's you can measure to the nearest tenth for the snowfall, and that is a 24-hour period snowfall taken off of a snowboard or any type of flat surface that you're using, top of your picnic table, something like that. And then after you've taken that measurement, you want to brush that off and start another 24-hour period for tomorrow morning's observation period if you get snow during that time. So in this instance, we had 1.5. Let's just do this to make it a little different here. So we got, say, 1.4. Snow depth, again, it's going to be whatever's left on the ground. And this is not from your snowboard. It's whatever's on your grass that's left. And it can be from multiple snow events, especially the northern folks up there. They're going to see lots of snow piling up. So it's going to be a accumulation of that along with your ice pellets or any type of melting going on. They're going to take that measurement, and that's the snow depth. And they'll usually do that. You can do that by taking about 5 to 6 averages around your yard, and make sure when you take that on the first snowfalls of the year, that snow doesn't settle so well. It just hangs up on top of the grass. So you want to kind of brush something away there and take a measurement to see how thick that actually is. Because sometimes folks will take that ruler and push it all the way into the ground, and it'll give you too high of a reading because that snow hasn't made it all the way down to where the ground is, the dirt. So you want to just check that out before you put in the snow depth. So in this instance, I took, for example, put 5 measurements, and it averaged 1.2. And you notice the nearest inch, so that's going to be 1 inch. And some places will have precipitation time occurrence. You can enter that. Weather, observational period weather, you can include whatever happened during this time. And again, I mentioned you want to make sure you clarify what happened. Let's say if you had a hail, just say what size hail and approximate time, damaging wind, put what time, what kind of damage, trees down, roof damage, etc., like that. So then once you've done that, you can hit submit button, and you'll notice you'll come to the confirm, and once you've double checked it, and you'll hit confirm, then the observation is sent. So you notice with snowfall, during winter months, you may have that, even you may not have that. What we'd like you to do is put snowfall through measurements, snow depth through the whole year, whether it's summertime or wintertime. Enter zeros for snowfall and snow depth during the summer times. And that is for climatological purposes, that we have record that you did observe when you took the observation that there was no snowfall, snow depth. If it's blank, we don't know if you checked that or not. So it's important to have that for as far as the climate, to show if there was snow on particular days throughout the whole year. It determines too also how many snowfall days there are, whether how much is a trace or more, etc. So that's very important to always put zeros in the snowfall and snow depth. Again, you'll hit confirm, and it'll get out to us within about 5 minutes. We'll get your observation. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this video.